I'm going to recount my most traumatic memory. And what you are about to hear is something that still heavily bothers me to this day. The following events happened 5 years ago when I was 17 years old. Before we begin, I should also note that I'm a female. One summer night, my best friend Hannah came over to my house for the weekend. Saturday night, we stayed up late, watched some movies, devoured junk food, etc. You know, the typical sleepover stuff. After our final movie of the evening came to an end, I decided to take a shower. It was around 1 a.m. and after our horror movie marathon, I was pretty paranoid. So I asked Hannah to sit in the bathroom with me while I showered. Being the good sport that she was, she agreed. While I showered, Hannah sat on the toilet and played some music on her cell phone. We spent my 20-minute shower session talking about whatever came to mind and singing along with the music. When I was done, I got out and grabbed a towel. Hannah said my name to show me a meme or something on her phone. I can't remember exactly what it was. I faced her and that's when I saw it. There was movement in the bathroom window above her head. The window distorted it slightly, but my blood ran cold when I realized what I was looking at. A face. A man's face. Smirking at me from the other side of the glass. The man ducked out of view for a moment and I quickly faced away to wrap my towel around my exposed body. I whispered to Hannah that there was a man looking in the window and she laughed it off, thinking I was messing with her. She bravely stands up and, to her horror, comes face to face with the man, still watching, still smirking. We run out of the bathroom and wake my parents, but by the time my dad gets outside, this creep is already long gone. And for his sake, he should be glad. When it comes to his little girl, my dad is a force to be reckoned with. The next day, my parents investigated outside the bathroom window and what they found still haunts me. There was a cinder block underneath the window that the man had stood on to get a better look, insinuating this probably wasn't the first time he's peeped at me. And here comes the worst part. Stuffed between the block and the wall was a Ziploc bag of lotion. The window cling was useless as you could see everything inside the bathroom clearly from the outside, but we didn't know that at the time. I still can't shower or even sleep without having every window in my house covered, and I don't think that will ever change. So I was at my Barnes & Noble's looking for interior design books. A nice-looking associate led me to where it was located all the way back in the corner of the store. As I was looking at some books, I see an average-looking man abruptly walk right in front of me and turn the corner. A few seconds later, he did turn right back around, walking in front of me again, only this time very slowly and blatantly looking right into my eyes. I thought to myself, way to make it not so obvious, you freaking idiot. Not to toot my own horn, but I'm used to men checking me out. Being an above-average-looking female, you get kinda used to this kind of attention. I continued my search, thinking little of it, until a minute later he brushed right past me from behind. He did this 3 more times, at close proximity with the same creepy gaze. This man wasn't looking for any books. He wasn't even hiding that fact either. He was there solely to prey on me. He brushed by me without saying a word and kept staring into my eyes, and at one point he stopped too close to me before walking the corner again. I tried not to make eye contact and continue with my search, but at this point I was too uncomfortable to continue. Being alone in the back of the store didn't help either. I left that section of the store and looked elsewhere. Not wanting to be followed again, I went to the nutrition section. Yeah, I won't find him here, I thought. After exhausting my search, I waited and looked around. The Barnes & Noble store was pretty empty at this point and it was getting late. Only the associates and a couple people were left and I couldn't see him anywhere. Thinking he had either left the store a while ago or was still somewhere in the store, I opted in leaving. Thinking the coast was clear, I let my guard down and exited. I looked to my left, no one in sight, then looked directly to my right only to see him 2 feet away from me staring at me and walking towards me. He had waited for me to leave this whole time. He didn't say a word to me. Not wanting to get close, I slowed my pace as he walked right in front of me, then across me. Slowly, with that same creepy stare, he circled back and was right behind me now. The parking lot was completely empty and the only visibility came from a streetlight directly hitting my car. Keys in hand, I power walked to my car, and I felt him close behind me. I basically leapt into my car, locking the door shut. Trying not to be shaken, I started my car and took a second to breathe, then pulled out, driving right past him. I saw he was next to his black sedan. Being a paranoid person, I made a mental note of his car. Black sedan, with no license plate. Great. Hope this creep won't follow me. Driving away, I made sure to look at my rearview mirrors, hoping to not be followed. Before driving home, I went to my local grocery store. While at the store, I called the Barnes & Noble about the odd, creepy man, noting what he looked like, what he did, and how I felt it was important to report it so that potentially this doesn't happen to another female there. While I'm walking out with my groceries, I swear I see the same car. No license plate, black sedan, running with someone inside. I couldn't get a look at the person inside, and a huge part of me didn't want to. Pulling out of the parking lot, I had basically locked eyes on my rearview mirrors, something too dangerous and a thing I won't do again. Arriving home, I was locked inside with my thoughts. What did he want with me? Was his intention to hurt me? Abduct me? Was he at the grocery store parking lot? Had he followed me home? This happened yesterday and nothing had came of it. All I know is I'm never entering that Barnes & Noble again. To give a little bit of background information, I'm a 17-year-old boy, and I live in a relatively small city in Greece. In the summer of 2020, me and my two best friends that I had at the time decided to visit an abandoned sanatorium that is located on a nearby mountain. For those of you who don't know what a sanatorium is, it's a building usually related to treating people, kind of like a hospital. In this case, it was planned to cure people of a specific disease in the Second World War. My house is not far from the mountain, probably a 2-hour walk from it, so we decided to hitchhike our way there. Long story short, a man picked us up. He was around the age of 60 and he was okay, I guess. Nothing happened worth mentioning. When we arrived there, it was pretty awesome. The building was huge, but it was not fully structured, hence why it was most likely not used at all. We were planning on spending 1 or 2 hours there and then just leaving because one of my friends wanted to sleep over at my house that night and we didn't want to be late. At one time, while we were on the roof of the sanatorium, we spotted an old shepherd just passing by with his sheep. For some strange reason, we thought it would be a good idea to throw pebbles at him to scare him, as we thought that we were somewhat world rulers while standing there. When we did, they probably didn't hit him, and he then threatened that he would call the cops on us. He obviously didn't, and he kept walking away. One of my friends, we'll call him G, had this idea to go after him to supposedly make him more afraid. We agreed, and proceeded to run down the stairs of the building and then continued running when we got down. The ground around the sanatorium was at a distance from the road of the mountain, and hence it was pretty exciting and easy to run there and go goofy. We kept on running, and eventually we never found the man and grew tired. While lying there having nothing else to do and almost leaving, we spotted a motorbike nearby sitting all by itself, with a backpack attached to it and the keys in. We were, and possibly still are, pretty immature, and like I said, having nothing else to do, we started searching the backpack. I honestly don't know what was going through our minds doing that on a motorbike that had the keys in it. And then another man popped out of nowhere in the distance. He looked and shouted at us. One of my friends thankfully saw him and immediately alerted us. It was a dumb idea in the first place. What was dumber, though, is the fact that I never thought that the man owned the motorbike and he would use it to chase us all around the place. So as expected, the thought to take his keys and toss them, then just run, never crossed our minds. Instead, what happened was surely one of the scariest experiences of my life. When he looked at us, we ran and hid in a bush field that was full of thorns. He He then had his dog, which we hadn't seen before, look and smell all over for us while he patrolled riding his motorbike all around. We stood terrified for a good 30 minutes and then took peeks outside the bushes. When he and his dog were gone, we were relieved because we honestly thought that he was going to beat the life out of us since he hadn't called the police. We got lost after we got outside into the field and we were going back and forth like lunatics trying to find the main road. When we did, we started walking and hitchhiked our way back home again. And I'm so grateful that two normal people did actually pick us up. I don't know how lucky we were at this point. So many things could have gone wrong. So many stupid decisions that we made along the way. And my advice to you is don't be afraid to try new adventurous things, just don't be an idiot like we were.